News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and 98.3 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
Could early retirement be a solution to the University of Montana's budget woes? Well, we'll find out. Good morning. This is John King filling in for Peter Christian on your Friday morning. News brought to you this morning by our friends over at Dig It Excavation, bringing 30 years of excellence to every job. For all of your excavation needs, call 214-4292. Well, the University of Montana's budget woes are no secret in the local community, but just how the institution can claw back into the black is a difficult problem that will likely require raising tuition and cutting staff or services. According to Montana University System Deputy Commissioner for Communications, Kevin McRae, the UM is spending more than most institutions on staff.
The University of Montana's percentage of expenditures on faculty, staff, administrative, professional employee salaries and wages is comparatively high compared to other institutions. So the University of Montana's expenditures are over 80% on wages, salaries, and so forth. And normal comparators for other institutions would be closer to about 70%.
The University of Montana is currently surveying, attempting to find staff members who might consider a retirement buyout package. According to McRae, nearly 400 staff have been identified as retirement eligible, and anywhere between 80 and 100 could be offered a buyout package.
Instead of eliminating a position and having to let go a junior faculty member, the retirement incentive program would allow us to then make an offer to someone who has been thinking about retiring in the foreseeable future, be an incentive for that person. They could retire as they want to do, and the junior faculty member stays in that department and devotes a great career to the students of the University of Montana.
The process is under consideration now. Buyout offers will likely be made over the course of the next year, with staffing changes expected in spring of 2018. How to get the money for the buyout package? Well, the legislature is considering that at this time. Missoula police were on the lookout Tuesday night for a male who was believed to be involved in drug-related activity. Public Information Officer Travis Welsh says officers eventually found the male, but taking him into custody was no easy task.
He had been recently associated with a specific vehicle that the officers located, saw a male in the car that they believed to be the person they were looking for. The male in the car left. They attempted to initiate a traffic stop, and rather than stopping and complying with the officers, the driver attempted to flee.
According to Welsh, a short pursuit took place near the 2800 block of Washburn.
The driver, who was later identified as 24-year-old Forrest Berry, struck a utility box of some kind and then jumped out of the car, allowing it to roll forward and strike an adjacent building. There was a short foot pursuit until the officers were able to take him into custody without incident. At that point, he began to comply.
I can't hear the name Forrest without thinking, "Run, Forrest, run," from Forrest Gump. Well, Forrest Berry now faces 9 separate charges, including felony criminal endangerment. Officers reported that as the driver attempted to flee, he drove dangerously close to oncoming traffic, and that resulted in a felony offense. Missoulians should have their ballots already for a local $804,000 mill levy request by Missoula County Public School District 1 elementary schools. Superintendent Mark Thane says one of the main reasons for that levy is to maintain accreditation.
In our elementary district, we've had an increase of 461 students from 2010 to the present. We're looking for support from the general public to increase our budget capacity by 2.4%. And I just want to be clear that that increase is not just to take care of inflationary concerns, but it's also because we find ourselves needing to add additional staff.
The accreditation limits have already been breached at a number of elementary schools in Missoula. Thane says at this point, accreditation is being fulfilled by hiring para-educators.
We are actually already exceeding those limits in some places. Quite honestly, it's happening in nearly all of our elementary buildings now in one classroom or another. Particularly the south side is challenged right now. Cold Springs, Chief Charlo, Russell, Lewis and Clark, Rattlesnake Elementary on the north side.
That standard is 20 students per classroom for kindergarten to second grade. Third and fourth graders, the standard is 28 students per classroom. After that, it's around 30 up through high school. Municipal elections are held every odd number year, and candidates are now able to file for any municipal positions. Missoula County Elections Administrator Rebecca Connors explains.
April 20th marks the opening of candidate filing for any municipal positions. We have on the ballot this year all the council members in their respective wards, 1 through 6. In Ward 2, we have an unfulfilled term, and then we also have a 4-year term. Then we also have judge and as well as mayor on the ballot this year.
According to Connors, there are certain requirements that need to be met in order to file for each position. All candidates must be registered to vote and are required to pay a specific filing fee.
For council member, it's $145.90. For judge, it's $918.89. And for mayor, it's $865.34. The filing fee is 1% of the total annual salary. So that's how those filing costs are calculated. Then the deadline to file is by 5 p.m. on June 19th.
Those who have already filed for council member positions include Brian von Lossberg, Jordan Hess, and Greg Strandberg. John Engen and Lisa Tripke have filed for mayor, and Kathleen Jenks has filed for a municipal judge. When Governor Steve Bullock added $10 million to the State Department of Transportation before the legislative session began, those funds were actually taken from the state's Medicaid account. Speaker of the House Austin Knudsen is asking Governor Bullock to sign House Bill 334, which would herein ensure that funds for the elderly and disabled will stay in the Medicaid account.
Well, it was Medicaid money, and our position as the Republican caucus was you are literally taking Medicaid dollars that are for our most needy people in the state of Montana for services that are already very limited, and he literally took that money and put it into the highway construction account.
Knudsen said House Bill 2, the main budget bill, is for all intents and purposes finished. He also said that Governor and his staff will meet with legislative leaders to hammer out any differences that might remain.
I think we're going to be okay. I don't foresee the governor vetoing House Bill 2. I mean, he knows it's an austere budget. It was a tight year. We didn't have a pile of extra money laying around. So we had to be very, very conservative with the state budget, and I think he and his staff recognize that. We're going to leave town with about a $200 million rainy day fund.
Late yesterday afternoon, Governor Bullock returned House Bill 334 to the House floor with amendments, which, according to Speaker Knudsen, is nearly the same as vetoing the measure.